The station with the best music. I love music. Best music. WBBE, the Beat Drops Radio.
Wednesdays, 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on BeatDropsRadio.com. Calling number is 404-826-9223. Master Christian Dog Show. Changing lives one dog at a time.
Hey, all right. Hey. Hello again. This is Master Christian on the Master Christian Dog Show on the BeatDropsRadio.com, WBBE. And today I'm joined with my producer, as always, Miss Burwell, and I have a special guest here who happy birthday is in order to him, Mr. Bobby Burwell.
All right, all right.
Happy birthday, my brother.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
All right, right now I want to start off with a little moment of silence for a minute for my friend, my lifelong friend that passed on August 20th, 2014. His name was JT McCoy. So I just want to stop for a few seconds and just give it up for JT. All right, the topic of today's show is not using violence to dominate. And hey, I see it all the time. I see it on the news. I see it everywhere I go. I see people beating their kids. I see people beating their dogs. I see people beating each other. I was in LA one time and they had the cameras on the news, and this old man was talking to his wife walking in the mall, and he said something and she said something back, and he said something again, she said something back, and then he started choking her and choked her till she was unconscious. And I think what he said was, if you say something else to me, I'm gonna choke you. And hey, it's too serious. The other day on the news, man, it was a guy, they caught in I think a lawyer or something in an elevator, beating a dog, just beating it and beating it. They had it on camera.
He was a lawyer?
Man, come on.
Man.
It doesn't matter the title we wear.
Right.
Violence is something that we were born with, something that our parents did to us, something that we go through life and try to use, and we get the same result that everybody else did. We don't fix the problem. We just make something afraid of us, because living things you have to teach. So with dogs, you can't just beat a dog. So back to when I was a kid, they said if the dog urinated on the floor, you put his nose in the pee. If the dog defecated on the carpet, you put his nose in the poop. It doesn't work, because you got to catch the dog when it's doing it and get the dog outside and teach the dog consistently. You want to dominate through consistency, not violence, because violence just makes the dog afraid of you. Once the dog is afraid of you,
he's running every time you come around.
Every time, brother, every time, because he's scared of you. So the way we do it in training, even though this is not the training show, it's just the dog show, is we use the leash to correct. So we would correlate that with a child as not a long whooping. If you whoop your child, if you physically come into contact with your child, it should be quick, and then you should teach. Not beat them and put them in timeout and give them time to resent you. This is about encouragement, not discouragement. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to talk with Bobby on his birthday and figure out if violence can help or hurt. And we're back with Master Christian, Miss Bianca, and Bobby the birthday man.
All right.
All right, I want to give a shout out to everybody. Give a shout out to yourself.
All right.
Go to masterchristian.com for all of your dog training needs. You can follow us at Master Christian on Facebook, Master Christian 404 on Instagram, MCDT 404 on Twitter, or like I said, go to masterchristian.com for all your dog training needs. All right, since we're sitting here with Bobby and we're talking about violence, and it doesn't matter whether we're talking about children, animals, adults, or whatever, violence is violence is violence is violence. As a father, Bobby, how do you feel about all the violence you see going on in the world?
Well, it's unbelievable. That's one thing I can say about it. But it's all about, you can raise your child up or a person up, show them the way, and as a person everybody grows into their own skin. But at the same time, you would hope that as that person, as a person goes on through life, they don't pick up those bad habits but we see it all the time. We see it every day. Every day we see it.
Well, I can see as from coming from where we come from, Toledo, Ohio,
yeah,
that violence was prevalent in a lot of the things that we saw.
Yeah.
Ergo, our parents, they teach us this, and then as we grow, the only way to stop the violence is to learn more and stop it right here. So if you stopped it within yourself, then you teach your kids something better.
Right, right.
When you have animals, if you teach them from the beginning, you get them as a puppy, you get them as a kitten, whatever you have, if you teach them positive things in positive ways from the beginning, and you stay consistent every single day, then you will not get frustrated, you will not get angry. But that's something that people have to work on inside themselves,
right,
because it's some kind of innate need to become enraged for some reason.
Well, that all comes with patience at the same time, So patience, along with teaching whatever it is, animal, human, it comes with patience and teaching them and learning and repeating the same things over and over until you see that they're growing and that they understand. Once you see that they understand, then you take it to the next level. Each level is a different level. But long as you have patience, everything should work out.
See, positive repetition is what I learned in dealing with these animals, because you want the animal to learn, you want to get their attention, and it's called a correction. A correction for dog training would be a slight jerk of the leash to get the dog's attention. It's called by the way, which is BTW. I came up with a meaning for BTW that's a little bit more, that it means be stronger, think faster, work harder. That's what my BTW means.
Right.
Because by the way is how we get the dog's attention. It's not trying to be angry or heavy with them. It's, hey buddy, pay attention to me. And that attention starts early. Now, if you get a dog at an older age, of course, you can't lay that foundation and that groundwork
already set in its way.
Just like children. If they're teenagers when they come around, of course, you can't guide that path. But you can evaluate, you can pick it up from there, and you can start to learn how to give them some guidance on where they're going. Because you might not know everything that happened where they came from, but it's up to us as adults to guide where everything is going. Our animals, our children, our family, each other, everything that we do. And that is a pure measure of control, and that's pure dominance, because we're making a plan and we're executing a plan every time. But violent dominance comes with blood. We shedding a lot of blood out here. I see it die down a little bit in Ferguson. What to think of that? Because that right there, that act of dominance right there, it doesn't matter how that boy was acting unless that boy was trying to commit that physical harm. So we might not never get the real story because there were no cameras there. I hear a lot of things. The guy that was with him had a lot of things to say, but still, it was a senseless act of violence.
Right.
And we got to ease back on that. Cause
you know, a lot of that, I believe, you know, these cops, they hide behind that badge. They do stuff because they're behind that badge. But, you know, without the badge, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. But because they're under that badge, they do a lot of this unnecessary, senseless crime or senseless stuff. So, you know, it's a shame they go by this oath, and next thing you know, we watching the news and we see what we see, and you know, it's a shame.
Well, I understand both sides, because at home we get beaten up by the police and everything, but you have to have a set of rules and somebody to police them. The police is a business. It's not a person. These are officers that have been sworn to uphold the law.
Right.
So at home with your dog, you have to police your house.
Right.
Not only your dog, your children, and everything else. You need to make sure everything is going on right. When I was in Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, they taught me about policing the area.
Right.
Yeah, you remember that stuff, huh?
Right.
And policing the area meant that we got to go and clean up and make sure there's nothing left behind, make sure everything is in order and everyone is safe.
Right.
Sometimes we have to police the area at night and be on fire watch when we stayed out in the woods and it was snow and everything, because if the potbelly stove went off, then everybody got cold.
Right.
So we have to be better police at home, not using the word police to be these people that are carrying guns and willing to kill, but someone responsible, willing to maintain order and keep things running smoothly at home.
Right.
Like, one big thing about controlling your area is clean it up. If you got animals, if you got kids, whatever you got, clean it up. If you're clean, then the children are learning from example to be clean. If you clean up after the dog every time it messes up without getting angry, the dog sees you as the alpha. But as soon as you get angry, it turns into a fight. And you don't want to have any fights with animals. What fights with animals turn out to be is, a couple years from now, you wipe your head or you move funny or something, and the dog attacks you, and then you say the dog turned on me. No, you started a fight a couple years ago. Because you can't be in a physical altercation with anything. If you beat a child, the child is always going to remember that. I always remember the things I did to get in trouble and when I got a whooping, but I remember more the people that whooped me for nothing. And I don't like them. I've forgiven them, but that don't mean I gotta like them ever again in life. And that's how the dog is. The dog will forgive you for everything. You bring food, you bring water, you give shelter, you give love, but you want the love to be the whooping. You want the love to be the praise. You want the love to be everything. And like I said, don't push it away when you feel like it's done something bad. Bring it closer and teach it what you want from it. So in Toledo, they got a water problem for everybody. Now, they fixed the water problem, but I've been wondering.
I don't think they fixed it.
No, they didn't fix it, because they said it's something else going on now. But my big wonder is, are they giving this water to the animals?
You know they are.
Really?
They definitely are. And you know, but let you beat that animal, you're going to jail. But they want to feed, but they're giving that water,
the bad water that we can't. Yeah.
So you know, they flip flop it. You know, they only brought up this situation because if someone would have come out and sued, that's why they had to make sure nobody got sick, because it's been going on, but they had to bring it to light. They said they were selling water for $50 a case. Yeah. I would have bought that $50 water a case for my dogs. I'm just saying. Everything I do is for my animals and for the people that I take care of. So if it's $50 for a case of water, my dog's drinking $50 water today. Now they might still have that $3.49 name on them, but my dog drinking $50 water today. I'm just saying, does it change because of the price, or is it the same old water? Man. And you know, it's a shame the mayor gets on the news and says this water's okay, but did he drink it in front of him? Yes.
Did they run it out the tap?
It was bottled water.
Oh, come on.
It was bottled water. He's telling everybody it's okay to drink, but you're not drinking it out the faucet. You're drinking
Hey,
it out the bottled
he was supposed to walk over to a tap
water. Right.
in someone's home, not something that they set up, and get him some green water and drink.
They are a joke.
You laugh, huh? Green water.
Man.
I thought that was Kool-Aid. That's lime flavor, right? That's so disgusting. The reason I know it's so disgusting because I also do saltwater tanks, and the algae builds up quick if you don't have the right environment, if the wave's not moving right, if it's too much sun, if it's a lot of factors in algae buildup.
Right.
So for them to have that massive amount of algae, that means that something they're doing down there is in imbalance.
And it's been doing it for a while.
Oh yeah.
So,
For that you can see it from outer space. It's only a few things you can see from outer space. The Great Barrier Reef.
Right.
You know, it's not a whole lot. It's a few things that you can see from outer space. And you can see this big green slime from outer space. Oh man, don't give it to my dog. I'll tell you that.
Right. Man.
I pay. They say they came up with a term. I pay like I weigh. For all you dog owners, if your dog destroys something or somebody else is paid for it because you weren't responsible. If your dog jumps on somebody, get him off of them because you weren't responsible. I'm not trying to tell you where you missed being responsible. I'm trying to wake you up into being responsible because having an animal and having children and having a life is a responsibility of an adult.
That's right.
So I hear a lot of people say, that's my son's dog. And I say, how old is your son? They say, well, he's 10. Okay, well, let's get it right. That's your dog. That's your son. It's your house. Let's start taking care of it.
Right.
I'm not here to tell you that you're doing it wrong or my way is better. I'm just here to give you some alternatives to do something a little bit different, and maybe it'll work for you. It's all about control in a positive way, or you're not controlling it at all, because dominant control doesn't work. Right here, right now, I'll tell you my favorite saying in the world.
What's that?
Verbally, you can't control anything with a brain.
Right.
So let's do a little test. Raise your hands up. Everybody raise their hands up. Nobody raised their hands.
Right.
We're going to wrap it up and I'm going to tell you why nobody raised their hands in a minute.
Right.
Master Christian.
LLC presents the Acoustic Cafe Experience Day Party featuring house band Turbo and Friends. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you dress for the
Yeah, take it out.
This is unlike anything that y'all get to experience before. What happened? Spoken word artists, violinists, saxophonists, all accompanied by Calvin Turnbow and Friends. Where's it held? Mocha Restaurant and Music Lounge, located at 511 Broad Street, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Dress code? No tennis shoes now. Combat boots or sagging. Tickets available online now for $15. 2-hour minimum, and you want to get your tickets now because it's 18 after 2. We look for you to come on in September 6th, 4 to 8 p.m. Acoustic Cafe Experience. You will enjoy it. Tell a friend. Make sure you guys know.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Hey, here we go again. We're back. Yeah. So I did an experiment before we left the last time. I said everybody raised their hands. And guess what? Nobody raised their hands. They killed it. The whole thing is you cannot verbally control anything with a brain. So stop using your voice to use a little more action. That means when you call your dog, if your dog doesn't come, get up and go get it. When you call your child and your child doesn't come, don't scream louder. Get up and go get them. Prove to them that you're not lazy. Prove to everything that you're willing to give your energy up and move forward in collecting them. And that's what they're going to respect. They're going to respect that every time you want something, you're willing to get up and get what you need. You know, we got a young man on the side listening to this. I'm giving his parents tips on how to get him. So he might not like that too much. It don't matter. This is the Master Christian Show on the BeatDropsRadio.com. And we're going to run this for all to see. Now, when you were a kid, Bobby,
yeah,
your mother called you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you come every time?
No, not every time.
Did you come any time on the first call?
Sometime I did. Sometime I did, sometime I did.
Now, what would happen after the first call?
You heard me. Hey, get that pop upside the head now.
All right. But the thing was, they had to call and call again. Mm-hmm. And in order to build a good structure, after the first call, we get up and we go get. Mm-hmm. See, what I learned in dealing with a lot of human beings, dealing with a lot of animals and everything, attention is never given, it's always taken. So we must use our energy and have some action to take that attention. Right. Even when you're looking at something, they did something, they had a certain look about themselves, they drew you to look at them, they took your attention from you. So if we think that we can just use our voice to control anything, I want you to say freeze and see if somebody stands still for you. They gonna move. They don't care, because freeze doesn't mean nothing. Even when gun is up, it doesn't mean anything, because verbally, what did I say? We can't control anything with a voice. I mean, am I right or am I wrong? Right. Especially not a dog that doesn't speak English. Right. So stop talking all that English to the dog and start having more action, but be calm with your action. Mm-hmm. Go over and get the dog. Put it back on leash if you can't handle it off leash, because you want a physical bond, a physical connection to keep that line of communication open until the dog knows that you're serious about communicating, because they're not taking you serious. Right. Now, for everybody, if y'all have questions, because every day, all day, I get asked questions about these animals, these dogs and everything, we got a call-in line. It's 404-826-9223. You call me up, and I'll field your question and give you a little more insight about what's going on, because humans, dogs, everything, we're living, breathing, thinking things. Mm-hmm. And though we may be different, just as different as we are, we're the same. Right. That brings me to the quote today that I have. It says, to be the best, you must be able to handle the worst. That's by Wilson Candy. What do you think that means to you, Bobby? To be the best, you must be able to handle the worst.
You got to have a strong mind and a strong will.
I agree.
You know, You don't let too much. You don't let nothing. Your spirit. Don't let your spirit get knocked down. Like I say, you have to have a strong mind and strong will
Okay.
in order to be your best.
Okay. Well, for me, being my best, handling these animals, I handle any animal. I don't care. I handle dogs, cats, whatever. I'm a master dog trainer. So I handle the roughest, toughest dogs because it's a method that I'm using to stop the dog and defend myself. But go ahead.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you use, when you're dealing with those dogs, do you use a muzzle?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not using a muzzle. I'm not using a prong collar. I'm not using a shock collar, nor am I using treats. I'm using a leash and a slip collar. They call a slip collar a choke chain. They used to call it that. But if it's used correctly, it's a machine. It's an instrument that they made that it's a certain way to put it on. It's a certain way to correct the dog with it, certain way to use it. And I also use flat collars on the dog, which will be like a belt. The prong collars that have the teeth in them, a lot of people use them. And what they're doing, they're bruising the dog up under their skin. They're doing a pressure wound to the dog, and they're simulating a bite. And that's violent all in itself. So I ask people, how did you come by having that prong collar on your dog? Because believe that I used to use one too when I didn't know any better. And how I came by it, a person at the store told me, this is just what you need for that Rottweiler. And funny enough, that's exactly what the persons and the people that I asked told me, that they recommended this at the store. So what I challenge everybody to do is get the best education on having an animal and dealing with these animals in a positive way that you can. If you can't get it here from me, go find somebody that you can get it from, because it's essential to the development of you and everybody around you that you handle that stress properly. And using these devices that are abrasive to the dog, they hurt the dog, and they make the dog angry at dealing with you and afraid of you. And we don't want to deal in fear, because if I slap you and make you afraid, every time I come around, you're going to be moving and looking at me funny. So that's not the kind of attention I want. I want respect. I want you to know that if I come around, I'm on time. If I come around, I'm going to do what I say. That's respect. That's what the dog is looking for. The dog is looking to respect that your movements are right and that you're not unsure, because if you're unsure and they're taking their cues off of you, they're unsure. Somebody needs to be sure. I heard the CEO of Walmart, when asked why are they selling AK-47, no, AR-15s, he said, because I made a decision to sell AR-15s, and that went on down the line. Somebody has to be the boss, and decisions have to be made in order to run life and have a form of control. If you don't make the decision, the dog's gonna make the decision. Somebody has to be the boss. You don't want the dog to be the boss of your house. And when it comes to cats, they are the boss of the house. Can't catch them, they'll scratch you. It's crazy. It's two at my mother's house. And though I don't deal with cats a lot, I grew up with 2 cats. They're not the same 2 that I grew up with. But when they died, I went and got them 2 more. What fun. But you know, it's a different world when you start to look at these animals and these insects and respect them for what they are. And every living thing must die. I had a debate earlier with someone that they said, no, certain things, not every living thing must leave this place. Even though we may not leave in spirit, these machines, these bodies that we work with, they will leave here. I haven't seen one that stayed. And I've been around when a lot of them left. And all these dogs. I just had a dog maybe 3 months ago. My first dog that I ever bought, his name was DeVille. He was a miniature pinscher. He lasted for almost 15 years. No, definitely 15 years. He lasted for 15 and a half years. And he had to be put down because he was old, skinny, and tired. And his quality of life was gone. So, you know, I'm not here to tell you to put him down. I'm just here to say we had to put DeVille down because it was time for him to go. But control what you can. And the one thing that you can control is yourself. So violence, you don't have to do it. Being angry, you don't have to be it. We can work through that. And once you start working through it in a positive manner, you start to feel better about yourself. Because self-esteem is just what I said. It's the esteem of yourself. Build it. Don't tear it down. Don't over dominate anything, because when you cross that line, then you're tearing it down, and it's going to be a disaster. We want everything to be confident. Dogs, people, everything that goes on. And if the master is confident, then the dog is confident. When me and my Rottweiler walk, he walks with his tail up proud, because he knows that we walking and people are moving. A block away, he can see them moving to the other side of the street, because they're giving us the respect that we own this sidewalk. And though he may or may not try to do anything to them, really he's not, because he's with me, and he's been trained to be with me. Master Christian dog training, by the way. It works. 10 to 14 days, lifetime guarantee, you get what you're looking for. It works. So we want to teach as well as preach to the masses that structure and order is what's necessary for us to win. To be the best, you have to be able to handle the worst. And that's where we're at with this. You want to be the best dad that you want to be, right?
That's right.
And you got a good young man that's sitting over here.
That's right.
I think y'all are doing a very, very good job. And when you walk past him, because I analyze everything, he don't duck, so he ain't too afraid of me. I like that. I like that. I mean, y'all been places. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen somebody get mad at the animal and beat it. A dog bit one of my dogs in the face while we were going through a carnivore or something. A dog thing. And a pit bull hit one of my Rottweilers in the face. And I just pulled her back. And the owner began to beat him with the leash and smack him in the face with her hand. And I said, hey, don't hit that dog. And she looked at me and began to curse me out. And I said, don't hit the dog. And she stopped cursing, looked at me, dropped her head, and walked away. Somebody has to be out here to fight for the rights of the things that can't fight for themselves. Now, sure enough, that dog could fight for itself, and it could have jumped up there and tore her up. Is that what we really want? Is that what we're really looking for? I don't think so. So, you know, for all of your dog questions, you can always hit me on Twitter at Master Christian. No, it's MCDT404 on Twitter. It's Master Christian 404 on Instagram. It's Master Christian on Facebook. And it's masterchristian.com for all your dog training needs. It's almost time for a break, but I think we're going to keep going unless the boss over here says wrap it up. So the next segment will be us ending the show and taking it on out. But I hope you learned something. You still got time to call. 404-826-9223. This is Master Christian, and we out.
All right.
great show, then contact the Beat Drops Radio and email your links, website, and contact information to the beatdropsradio@gmail.com. Set up an appointment today. Act quickly as we are gearing up for the new year and expanding our network to include interesting, creative, fun, original, and captivating.
Philippines are rocking with you the whole show.
Just like you.
They ain't got nothing better to do.
Located in the Atlanta metro area. Now, if you don't live in the Atlanta area and have pre-recorded shows, we have time slots available for you too. Don't delay and email us today to beatdropsradio@gmail.com.
Back from the lab, here we go. I'm still sitting here with the birthday boy, Bobby B, and Miss Bianca. What's up, producer lady? All right, all right. So we've been talking about dominating without using violence, because you shouldn't have to use violence to dominate anything. Dominate things with consistency. So that means start off in the morning, make a good schedule. This is going to be your everyday schedule, and you want to show the dog what you're doing. You want to get up in the morning, you want to take it to the bathroom, you want to feed it, you want to take it to the bathroom a little while after that, and then you want to let your dog interact with the family or whatever you're doing. If you got to go to work, you put it up. If you're leaving it out, make sure that the dog can be left out, because all dogs can't be left out to their own devices. They're not yet responsible enough. That's where training comes in. Well, training comes from Master Christian Dog Training. Once again, go to masterchristian.com, leave your comments. If you leave a comment right now, I'm checking. We'll answer your questions if you get it in before in a few minutes. Anyway, along with doing that good schedule for your dog, your timing on everything needs to be right, because, you know, as human beings, we get a little slow and sluggish on some things. We want to sit there on the couch and eat potato chips. We want to talk on the phone and zone out and not see what's going on. And the dog, the kids, everybody is running amok. My grandmother, my grandma B, B, she was a great lady. She used to watch General Hospital at, what it come on, 3 or 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock?
3.
Yeah, used to come on at 3 o'clock. She had to watch General Hospital every day. We could be 10 feet away from her, fighting like cats and dogs.
She was not
zoned into the show.
That's right. That's
Don't
that show.
ever get zoned out of real life off of this programming, unless it's the Master Christian Dog Show. Then you can zone out of real life. You don't have to worry about it. If I'm on the radio, your dog is going to behave. Believe me. Believe me. You believe me, Bobby?
I believe you, man.
All right, I got to believe it. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right. So your timing on what you do has to be impeccable. If you slow and sluggish, like I said, it's not going to work. You're going to miss it. The dog is evaluating you at all times to see what you're doing. So since the dog is watching you, start watching the dog. You've been watching and analyzing everything that the dog is doing. Get the right equipment. Get you a 5-foot leather lead if you don't have one. If you can't find one, give me a call. Hit me on the website, masterchristian.com, and I'll be able to help you with that. Get you the right equipment and the right things for your dog, and you'll have a better situation going on at home. As you try to do it off the hip, however you thought, or somebody told you to do, that is not an expert, it's not going to happen right for you, and you're going to be frustrated. Frustration leads to anger, anger leads to rage, and then your dog is going to do something, you're going to be beating it, and then your kid is going to do something, you're going to be beating it. And we want to stop all the beating and start teaching people to be responsible for themselves and everything that's going on. So, as a responsible person, what you going to do for your birthday, Bobby?
Oh, man, I'm just going to save it for the weekend. And other than that, I'm going to be here on this station for the rest of the day and for the support and enjoy this moment.
How do you save it for the weekend? You put it in a little thing and you tie it up, you wrap it up. What you do with it?
Just save all the fun.
She told me it was a party going on when you get home.
It may be. I don't got that party out.
I love it. So consistency with your life. This is a consistent thing that happens to this man every year that he reaches this day. It's his birthday. It's a lot of people having birthdays. I want to say happy birthday to everyone out there in radio world, everyone in the real world, and everyone else, because it's a special day for somebody today. We're going to make sure that you get the right information when you need it on the Master Christian Dog Show. This is Master Christian, and Bianca is saying we got to stay for a little while longer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a little more. and we're going to talk about something that somebody called me with earlier. We're going to talk about the Flexi Lead. The Flexi Lead is this box that has this rope, this string that comes out of it, and your dog is allowed to get 15, 20 feet, 30 feet away from you.
Right.
You ever seen
Right.
that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's a big apparatus that's in someone's hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's not comfortable. It's not easy to use.
Why
And people aren't happy with it. They think they're happy. Go ahead.
would you say it's not comfortable and it's not?
When you have a real leash in your hand with a loop on it,
Right.
you're able to put it in a proper way, which one day I'll show you the proper way to hold a leash, but it's functional for you. And the dog has a distance of 5 to 6 feet away from you.
Right.
You're teaching the dog proximity, where when you tell the dog to come or heel or something, the dog knows how close you want it to be to you. When you let the dog go 15, 20, 30 feet away from you, then the dog is independent of you, and it's a little harder to get the dog to come back. Plus, if you have a small dog and it's way out away from you and you're not paying attention, because you know distance is how we pay attention. The closer something is, the more we can see it with our peripheral or with anything that we're doing. It's right here.
Right.
But the further it is away, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
So we got hawks and we got coyotes, we got all kind of things running around, and your dog way over there
Right.
can get attacked by something. It's pit bulls running loose out here, and they were bred to fight dogs. It's not their fault.
Right.
It's genetic.
Right.
The only way to stop it is to stop fighting dogs and breed them to do something else. It's inbred how we change everything, and all these extra breeds were made through man.
Right.
So we did something special to make them up. You know, so consistency.
Right.
You get up every day and go to work.
Yeah.
Consistently.
That's right.
That's what people need. They need to have a schedule of things to do every day, so it makes them have a purpose for being here. If every day you wake up and say, what am I doing today? Your life ain't going nowhere.
Right. You're spinning top.
Yeah, you're sitting still. And sitting still is metaphorical too, because sitting still is sitting still. Time moves on no matter what's going on.
No matter what. Time.
So if time is going to keep going on, then, you know, shouldn't we?
Should.
I mean, I started off with a head full of red hair, a face full of red hair. When it grew, it ain't so red no more, man.
Right.
I pull gray hairs out because I'm trying to get rid of them when they be standing. But I can't pull them all out, so I give up
Right.
because they're coming anyway.
Right. They come.
I mean, are they? Because you don't have too many of them, brother.
Yeah.
You're like 90 years old. Oh, I was counting in dog years. I'm sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry. I can't count you in dog. I added what? 10 years to your real age?
Yeah. Like that.
Oh, man. Well, we having a good day. The rain has come and got us. Again, one side note about your scheduling and everything. Make sure that if you have water out for the dog, you change it frequently. You stick your hand in it before you let the dog stick his face in it so you feel the temperature of the water. You don't want the water that's sitting outside. You don't want the dog drinking warm or hot water. That's tea. And if you want to give him tea, make it in a pot. Okay? Water changes are important. Cleaning up stool in your yard is important. And this has been the Master Christian Dog Show.
All right.
On the BeatDropRadio.com, WBBE. The opinions of the Master Christian Dog Show may not be the opinions of the BeatDropsRadio.com. And we out of here. Happy birthday, Bobby.
Thank you, sir. Y'all villain.